The anesthesia wore off slowly. I remember waking up in stages like surfacing from deep water. First the sounds, beeping monitors and hushed voices. Then the pain, a dull ache in my lower back that pulsed with my heartbeat. Then finally opening my eyes to see white ceiling tiles and my wife Lisa sitting in the chair next to my hospital bed. "You're awake," she said, standing up quickly. Her voice had this strained cheerfulness that I couldn't quite place through the medication fog. "How do you feel?" "Like I got hit by a truck," I managed to say. My throat was raw from the breathing tube. "The surgeon said it went well," Lisa continued. "You'll need to stay here for 2 more days. Then 6 to 8 weeks of recovery at home. No lifting, no driving, no going back to work until the doctor clears you." My name is Derek Mitchell. I'm 34 years old and 3 days ago I had emergency spinal surgery. Herniated disc that had been getting progressively worse for months until I literally couldn't walk anymore. The pain had been excruciating. Shooting down my left leg, numbness in my foot, nights spent unable to find any position that didn't hurt. Finally my doctor said surgery was the only option. So here I was, in Northwestern Memorial Hospital in Chicago, recovering from a procedure that had involved cutting into my spine. Lisa stayed with me that first day. Helped me to the bathroom. Adjusted my pillows. Brought me ice chips when I couldn't keep anything else down. She seemed attentive, concerned, like a good wife should be. But there was something off about her energy. She kept checking her phone. Looking at the door like she was expecting someone or maybe hoping no one would come in. The next morning my best friend Jake showed up. He was carrying flowers and a stack of magazines. "Dude," he said, grinning from the doorway. "You look like hell." "Thanks," I croaked. "You always know just what to say." He came in and set the flowers on the table. Lisa was there too. She'd gone home to shower and change but came back early. When Jake walked in I saw them exchange a look. Quick, almost imperceptible. But I saw it. A look that said something I couldn't quite interpret through the pain medication. Jake had been my best friend since college. We'd met freshman year, bonded over late-night video games and cheap beer, stayed close through all the life changes that usually separate friends. He'd been the best man at my wedding to Lisa 4 years ago. He came to our place for Sunday football. We went to concerts together. He was family basically. So it made sense that he'd visit me in the hospital. That's what best friends do. "I'll come by every day until you're back on your feet," Jake said. "Make sure you're not dying of boredom." Lisa smiled at him. "That's really sweet of you, Jake. I appreciate you being here for Derek." The way she said it, that phrase, "being here for Derek," had emphasis on my name. Like she needed to clarify who Jake was there for. But I was too drugged up to think about it clearly. Over the next 2 days in the hospital, Jake visited twice more. Brought me books, kept me company, made me laugh despite the pain. Lisa was there too most of the time, but she'd leave when Jake arrived. Said she needed to run errands or go home to check on things. I didn't think much of it. She'd been at the hospital constantly. Of course she needed breaks. They discharged me on day 4. Lisa drove me home carefully, avoiding bumps in the road that sent jolts through my spine. Our apartment was on the 2nd floor of a brownstone in Lincoln Park. No elevator. The stairs were agony even with Lisa supporting me. By the time we got inside I was sweating and shaking from the effort. The doctor's orders were clear. 6 to 8 weeks of limited mobility. No bending, no twisting, no lifting anything over 5 pounds. I needed help with everything. Getting dressed, getting in and out of bed, showering. It was humiliating being so dependent. But Lisa stepped up. She took family leave from her job as a graphic designer. Said she'd work from home and take care of me. Jake came by that first day home. Helped me get settled on the couch. Set up a little station with water, medication, remote controls, everything within reach. "You need anything at all, you call me," he said. "I mean it, Derek. I'm here for you." I appreciated it. Having a friend like that. Someone willing to help when you're at your most vulnerable. What I didn't know was that vulnerability would become my blindness. For the first week things seemed normal. Lisa was attentive. Jake visited every couple days. My parents came by once. Lisa's sister stopped in. Normal recovery stuff. I spent most of my time on the couch or in bed, managing pain, doing the physical therapy exercises the surgeon had prescribed. Gentle stretches. Short walks around the apartment. Slowly rebuilding strength. Week 2 Jake started coming by more often. Every day now. Sometimes twice a day. He'd stop in the morning before work. Bring coffee. Chat for 20 minutes. Then he'd come back in the evening. Lisa said it was nice having the help. Said Jake was being a really good friend. And he was helpful. He'd help me to the bathroom when Lisa was cooking dinner. He'd bring groceries when we ran low. He'd sit with me and watch sports when I was going stir-crazy from being stuck at home. but I started noticing things. Little things that individually meant nothing but together started forming a pattern. The way Lisa would get dressed up on days Jake was coming over. Not dressed up like she was going somewhere, but nice clothes, makeup, hair done. The way she'd laugh at Jake's jokes with this brightness in her eyes I hadn't seen in months. The way they'd both volunteer to go pick up my prescription refills together and be gone for an hour when the pharmacy was 10 minutes away. Week 3, I woke up from an afternoon nap and heard voices from the kitchen. Low, intimate tones. I called out, "Lisa?" The voices stopped abruptly. Then Lisa appeared in the bedroom doorway. "Jake's here," she said. "He brought lunch." I tried to sit up and winced. The movement sent pain shooting through my back. "Need help?" Jake asked, appearing behind Lisa. "Yeah," I admitted. "Bathroom." Jake helped me out of bed and to the bathroom. When I came back out, I noticed Lisa adjusting her shirt. It was wrinkled in a way it hadn't been that morning. Jake's hair looked messed up too, like he'd run his hands through it. They both seemed flushed. I told myself I was being paranoid. Pain medication can make you think weird things, make you see connections that aren't there. But then small things kept happening. I'd wake up and hear the front door closing quietly. Footsteps in the hallway. Lisa would come back into the apartment from somewhere, but she'd said she was just in the other room. Jake would text me asking how I was doing, and I'd hear Lisa's phone buzz with a message at the same time. Once I asked her who was texting and she said just work stuff. But she worked freelance. Who was texting her about work at 9 at night? Week 4, my brother Marcus came to visit. He lived in Milwaukee but drove down to check on me. He stayed for a few hours, helped me do my physical therapy exercises, grabbed lunch with me. While we were eating sandwiches Lisa had made, he said something that stuck with me. "Jake's around a lot, huh?" "What do you mean?" I asked. Marcus shrugged. "Lisa mentioned he's been here pretty much every day for a month. That's really dedicated friendship." "Yeah," I said. "He's a good guy." Marcus was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "Maybe too good." "Too good?" I repeated. Marcus set down his sandwich and looked at me directly. "Derek, I'm going to say something and you're probably going to tell me I'm crazy. But I care about you, so I'm saying it anyway." "What?" "Watch them," Marcus said. "Watch how they are together. Just pay attention." "Are you saying what I think you're saying?" I demanded. Marcus held up his hands. "I'm not saying anything definite. I'm just saying I saw them together when I got here. Before they knew I'd arrived. I parked down the street and walked up. Through your front window I saw them in the kitchen, and Derek, the way they were standing, the way Lisa was looking at him, it didn't look like just friends helping out." "You're wrong," I said immediately. "Jake would never do that. He's my best friend." Marcus nodded. "You're probably right. I'm probably reading into things. But just watch them, okay? For your own peace of mind." After Marcus left, I couldn't stop thinking about what he'd said. I told myself he was wrong. But I also couldn't unsee what he'd planted in my mind. The way Lisa did her makeup on Jake days. The way they'd go quiet when I entered a room. The hour-long pharmacy runs. The late-night texts. That evening Jake came by as usual. I watched them. Really watched them. The way Lisa touched his arm when she laughed. The way Jake's eyes followed her when she left the room. The way they seemed to have inside jokes I wasn't part of. Small glances that spoke volumes. And I felt it. That sick feeling in your gut when you know something is wrong but you don't want to believe it. I need to install a camera, I thought. Then immediately felt disgusted with myself. Spying on my wife? My best friend? What was I becoming? But the thought wouldn't leave. What if Marcus was right? What if they were? I couldn't even finish the thought. The idea of Lisa and Jake together while I was laid up recovering from surgery, it was too awful to contemplate. Week 5, I made a decision. I ordered a small wireless camera online. The kind you can hide and monitor from your phone. It arrived 2 days later when Lisa was out getting groceries. I set it up in the living room bookshelf pointing toward the couch. Disguised it between books. The angle covered most of the living room and part of the kitchen. I felt terrible doing it. Like I was crossing some line of trust. But I had to know. The first few days the camera showed nothing. Lisa working on her laptop. Me doing my exercises. Normal domestic life. I started to feel guilty. Maybe I was being paranoid. Maybe Marcus had planted a seed of doubt that was growing into nothing. Then on Thursday afternoon, I had a doctor's appointment. My 6-week checkup to see how the surgery site was healing. Lisa drove me. The appointment ran long. We were gone for almost 3 hours between drive time, wait time, and the actual examination. The doctor said I was healing well but needed another 2 weeks of limited activity before I could return to normal life. When we got home, I was exhausted. The drive had aggravated my back. I went straight to bed. Lisa said she'd make dinner. I dozed off for about an hour. When I woke up it was dark. I grabbed my phone to check the time and saw I had notifications from the camera app. Motion detected. I opened the app and felt my world collapse. The footage was from an hour ago, right after Lisa and I had left for the appointment. Jake had let himself in. He had a key we'd given him years ago for emergencies. The camera showed him looking around, checking to make sure we were really gone. Then he called someone. I couldn't hear the audio clearly, but I could read his body language. Excited. Nervous. 5 minutes later the front door opened again and Lisa walked in. But we were supposed to be at the doctor's appointment. How was Lisa here? Then I understood. She'd driven me to the appointment. Dropped me off. Told me she was going to run errands during my checkup and would pick me up after. I thought nothing of it. Lots of parking at medical buildings. Made sense for her to use the time productively. Except she hadn't run errands. She'd come home to meet Jake. I watched the footage with my heart in my throat. Lisa walked straight to Jake. He pulled her into a kiss. Not a friendly kiss. A deep, passionate kiss of people who'd been waiting to be alone together. They didn't even make it to the bedroom. Right there on our couch, the couch where I'd been recovering, they started undressing each other. I couldn't watch anymore. I closed the app. Sat there in the dark bedroom trying to breathe. Trying to process what I'd just seen. My wife. My best friend. On our couch. While I was at a doctor's appointment checking on surgery recovery from an operation I'd needed because of a spinal condition. They'd used my medical crisis as an opportunity to have an affair. How long? That was my first coherent thought. How long had this been going on? Since the surgery? Before? The flowers Jake brought to the hospital. The daily visits. The helpful errands. All of it recontextualized now. Not friendship. A cover. An excuse to be around Lisa. To establish a pattern so their time together wouldn't seem suspicious. I heard Lisa's voice from the other room. Derek? Dinner's ready. Do you need help? I didn't answer. Couldn't. She appeared in the doorway. You okay? You look pale. I'm fine, I managed. Just tired. The appointment was a lot. She came closer. You sure? You're sweating. I pulled away when she tried to touch my forehead. I said I'm fine, Lisa. She looked hurt by my tone but backed off. Okay. I'll bring you dinner in here then. After she left I opened the camera app again. I had to see the rest. Had to know how far this went. The footage showed them on the couch for about 20 minutes. Then they got dressed. Lisa checked her watch. Said something I couldn't hear. They kissed again, quick but intimate. Then Lisa left. 5 minutes later Jake left too. They'd coordinated it. She'd gone back to the medical building to pick me up. He'd gone back to work or wherever he'd told people he was going. And I'd been none the wiser. I went back through saved footage from previous days. Found more. A week ago when I'd taken an afternoon nap. 2 weeks ago when Jake had volunteered to stay with me while Lisa went to a work meeting. She hadn't gone to a meeting. She'd gone to the store, come back, and they'd had a quick encounter in the kitchen while I slept in the bedroom. It had been going on for weeks. Maybe longer. I couldn't check footage from before I'd installed the camera, but I could guess. That night I didn't sleep. Just lay there in the dark trying to figure out what to do. Confront them? Throw them both out? File for divorce? Press charges? Could you even press charges for this? My best friend had been taking advantage of my post-surgical weakness to sleep with my wife in my own home. There had to be something illegal about that. Something beyond just the moral bankruptcy. I decided to gather more evidence first. Document everything. Make sure I had an airtight case for when this inevitably went to divorce court. Because that's where this was heading. There was no coming back from this. No forgiveness possible. You don't recover from betrayal this calculated, this cruel. The next morning Jake texted me. Hey man, how'd the doctor appointment go? I stared at that text for a long time. The casual friendliness of it. The concern that was completely fake. He knew how the appointment went. Lisa had probably told him last night. Or this morning. Did they text all the time? Call each other? How deep did this go? I responded, good. 2 more weeks then I'm cleared for normal activity. His response came quick. That's great news. You must be relieved. Yeah, I typed back. Can't wait to get back to normal life. What I meant was, can't wait to be mobile enough to throw both of you out of my life. Jake offered to come by that afternoon. I told him not to bother. Said I was feeling okay and Lisa had everything under control. He seemed disappointed. Said he'd check in tomorrow then. I spent that day reviewing more footage. Found a pattern. They met up 2 to 3 times a week. Always when they thought I was asleep or out of the apartment. Always careful. Always making sure they weren't caught. Lisa would sometimes leave in the middle of the night. I'd hear our bedroom door close quietly. Assumed she was just getting water or using the bathroom. The camera showed her meeting Jake in the living room. They'd talk in whispers I couldn't hear. Sometimes they'd just talk. Sometimes more. I needed to confront them, but I wanted to be smart about it. I called my brother Marcus. Told him he'd been right. Told him what I'd found. He was furious. "That son of a bitch," Marcus said. "Both of them. Derek, I'm so sorry. What are you going to do?" "I don't know yet," I admitted. "I need to be able to move better before I kick them out. I'm still dependent on Lisa for basic stuff. I can't throw her out and be stuck here unable to take care of myself." Marcus thought about this. "Come stay with me. I'll take the week off work. Drive down and get you today. You can recover at my place. You don't have to stay in that apartment with her." I considered it. But something in me wanted to see this through. Wanted to watch them keep lying to my face. Wanted to document every lie, every secret meeting, every betrayal. So when this went to court, I'd have everything. And I wanted the satisfaction of confronting them when I was strong enough to stand on my own. When I wasn't vulnerable anymore. "I'll wait," I told Marcus. 2 more weeks and I'm cleared for normal activity. Then I'll handle it." "Promise me you'll be safe," Marcus said. "Promise me you won't do anything stupid." "I promise," I said. Though I wasn't sure what qualified as stupid in this situation. Week 6 was the hardest. Having to pretend everything was fine. Letting Lisa help me shower. Accepting Jake's visits. Acting grateful for their help when all I felt was rage. But I did it. I documented everything. Every lie. Every moment they were alone together that I caught on camera. Every text message I could see Lisa sending when she thought I wasn't looking. I also started preparing practically. I called a divorce lawyer. Explained the situation. He said the video evidence would be crucial. Illinois was a no-fault divorce state, but proof of infidelity could affect asset division and potentially give me leverage. I also started moving money. Not hiding it, but protecting it. Making sure Lisa couldn't drain our joint accounts when this blew up. Week 7, the doctor cleared me for light activity. I could drive short distances. Could lift more than 5 pounds. Could shower without help. Lisa seemed almost disappointed. "You're getting better so fast," she said. "I'll miss taking care of you." The irony of that statement. She'd miss having an excuse to keep me dependent while she carried on with Jake. That weekend I told Lisa I was feeling well enough to go visit Marcus for a few days. "Give you a break," I said. "You've been taking care of me for 7 weeks. You deserve time to yourself." She seemed uncertain. "Are you sure you're ready for the drive?" "It's 2 hours. I'll be fine," I assured her. "Marcus will help on that end. Besides, I need to get out of this apartment. I'm going stir crazy." She agreed, though I could see her calculating. 3 days with me gone. 3 days with free access to the apartment and Jake. She was probably thrilled. I packed a bag. Loaded it in my car myself, though it hurt. Hug Lisa goodbye. She kissed my cheek. "Drive safe. Text me when you get there." I did drive to Milwaukee. Did stay with Marcus. But I also set up alerts on the camera to send me notifications every time it detected motion. That first night alone, Lisa had Jake over at 8 p.m. They didn't even wait until late. Ordered takeout. Ate dinner together at our table. Sat on our couch watching a movie like a couple. Then went to our bedroom. That was new. Before they'd stayed in the living room, maybe out of some twisted respect for boundaries. Now with me gone they had free reign. I watched some of the footage. Couldn't watch all of it. Seeing them in the bed I shared with Lisa was too much. Marcus found me at 2 a.m. sitting on his couch staring at my phone. He took it away. Went back through the footage himself. His jaw was clenched so tight I thought he might crack a tooth. "When are you confronting them?" "Tomorrow," I said. "I'm done. Done watching. Done documenting. I have enough evidence to bury them both." The next morning I drove back to Chicago. Didn't tell Lisa I was coming. Used the camera to make sure they were both there. They were. Sunday morning, 10 a.m., having breakfast in my kitchen. I let myself in quietly. They didn't hear me at first. I stood in the doorway watching them. Jake was making eggs. Lisa was sitting at the table in one of my t-shirts. They looked domestic. Comfortable. Like this was their routine. Then Jake turned and saw me. He went white. Dropped the spatula. "Derek, what are you? You're supposed to be in Milwaukee." I said. My voice was calm. Calmer than I felt. "I came back early. Wanted to surprise my wife." Lisa stood up from the table so fast her chair fell over. "Derek, this isn't, we weren't," I held up my hand. Don't insult me by trying to explain this. I've known for 2 weeks." "You've known?" Jake said. He looked at Lisa, then back at me. "Oh. The bookshelf," I said, pointing to where the camera was hidden. Between the copy of Moby Dick and the photo album. Been filming you for weeks. Got quite a collection of footage. You're especially photogenic, Lisa, when you think no one's watching. Lisa's face crumpled. Derek, please. Let me explain. Explain what? I asked. Explain how you've been fucking my best friend while I recovered from spinal surgery? Explain how you used my medical crisis as cover for an affair? Explain how you let me believe you cared about me while planning your time with him? What exactly do you think you can explain that makes any of this okay? It just happened, Lisa said weakly. We didn't mean for it to happen. When? I demanded. When did it start? She didn't answer. Jake spoke up. Derek, man, I'm so sorry. I never meant to hurt you. I laughed. It was a harsh, bitter sound. You never meant to hurt me? You've been screwing my wife for weeks, maybe months, in my home while I was recovering from surgery, and you never meant to hurt me? Jake looked down. I'm sorry, he repeated. How long? I asked again. Lisa was crying now. Derek, please. How long? I shouted. 6 months, she whispered. Since before your surgery. We tried to stop, but we couldn't. We love each other. 6 months. 6 months of lies. 6 months of secret meetings. My surgery had been 3 months ago, which meant they'd started their affair while I was in constant pain, before I even had the operation. When I was at my lowest, most vulnerable point, needing support, they'd been starting this. Get out, I said to Jake. Both of you. Get out of my apartment right now. Derek, this is my apartment too, Lisa said. I pay rent here. I looked at her. You think I care about the legality right now? You think I won't physically throw you both out? Test me. See how far my back recovery has come. Jake grabbed his jacket. I'll go, he said. Derek, I'm sorry. I hope someday you can forgive me. I stepped forward and Jake flinched. Don't, I said quietly. Don't ever talk to me again. Don't call. Don't text. Don't show up anywhere I am. You're dead to me. Understand? Jake nodded and left. The door closed behind him and it was just me and Lisa. She was still crying. Still wearing my t-shirt like she had any right to my belongings anymore. I filed for divorce this morning, I told her. My lawyer has copies of all the footage. You're going to get destroyed in the settlement. I don't care about the money, Lisa said. Derek, I made a mistake. A massive mistake. But I love you. I want to fix this. You love me? I asked incredulously. You don't betray someone you love. You don't use their medical crisis as an opportunity to cheat. You don't sneak around with their best friend for 6 months and call it love. I was lonely, Lisa said. You've been so focused on work and then the surgery and recovery. You weren't there for me emotionally. So you found emotional support in my best friend's bed? I shot back. That's your defense? I was lonely? Lisa sank back into her chair. I don't know what else to say. I'm sorry. It's not enough, I told her. Sorry doesn't fix this. Sorry doesn't undo 6 months of lying. Sorry doesn't make me unsee the footage of you with him. You need to leave. Where am I supposed to go? To Jake, I suggested. Since you love him so much. Figure it out, Lisa. But you're not staying here. I want you gone by tonight. She stared at me. Derek, please. We can go to counseling. We can work through this. There's nothing to work through, I said. We're done. I'll have my lawyer send over the divorce papers. You can keep whatever personal belongings you want. Everything else stays. Now get dressed and get out. She went to the bedroom to pack. I sat on the couch, the same couch where I'd watched them together on camera, and felt nothing. No anger, no sadness, just numbness. Like someone had scooped out my insides and left a shell. An hour later, Lisa came out with 2 suitcases. This is really it? She asked. You're really ending our marriage without even trying to fix it? You ended it 6 months ago, I said. I'm just making it official. She left. I sat there in the empty apartment surrounded by 7 weeks of painful memories. The couch where I'd recovered. The bedroom where I'd slept while they met in the living room. The kitchen where they'd made breakfast this morning like a happy couple. I wanted to burn it all. Instead I called my brother. It's done, I told him. They're both gone. Good, Marcus said. Now what? Now I heal, I said. For real this time. Not just my back. Everything. The divorce took 6 months. Lisa tried to fight it at first. Wanted counseling, wanted another chance. But when my lawyer showed her legal team the footage, they advised her to settle. The infidelity wasn't technically relevant in a no-fault state, but it gave me leverage. I got the apartment. Most of our savings. She got her personal items and some retirement funds. Fair enough considering what she'd done. Jake tried to reach out once. Sent me a long email about how sorry he was, how it had been a mistake, how he valued our friendship. I deleted it without reading past the first line. Some betrayals don't deserve forgiveness. Some friendships can't be salvaged. A year later I was doing better. Back at work full-time. Back recovered completely. Started dating again though trust was hard. Every woman I met, I wondered if she was capable of what Lisa had done. If any friend I made could turn into another Jake. My therapist said that was normal. Said it would take time to trust again. Said some scars heal slower than others. She was right. 2 years after the surgery, after the betrayal, after the divorce, I was finally starting to feel like myself again. Stronger maybe. More cautious definitely. But alive. I learned something through all of it. Pain comes in different forms. The physical pain of a herniated disc nearly destroyed me. But the emotional pain of betrayal was worse. Physical pain you can treat with surgery and medication. Emotional pain requires time and distance and sometimes cutting people out of your life completely. I also learned that vulnerability is dangerous. When you're at your weakest, that's when predators strike. Lisa and Jake took advantage of my surgical recovery to conduct their affair. Used my dependence to hide their betrayal. That's something I'll never forget. Now when I'm vulnerable, when I need help, I'm careful who I let close. Because some people who claim to care about you are just waiting for an opportunity to use your weakness against you. Last month I ran into Lisa at a coffee shop. First time I'd seen her in person since the divorce. She was with someone. Not Jake, someone new. She saw me and looked away quickly. Uncomfortable. Ashamed maybe. Or maybe just didn't want the confrontation. I got my coffee and left without saying anything. There was nothing left to say. She'd made her choices. I'd made mine. We were strangers now. That's all we'd ever be again. Sometimes people ask if I've forgiven her. Forgiven Jake. I tell them forgiveness isn't really the point. The point is moving forward. Building a life that doesn't include people who betrayed you at your most vulnerable. That's not forgiveness and it's not revenge. It's just survival. And after everything, survival is enough. That and making sure I never again trust someone who smiles to my face while plotting behind my back. Some lessons you only learn once. This was mine. Have you ever been betrayed by someone you trusted completely? Share your story.